I started Let's Rant for a couple different reasons. Partly for a different point of view from Start and Select. Partly to get that edgy teen fan base that love drug abuse jokes, meta humour, and the occasional F-bomb. And partly as an outlet for my crippling addiction to demonetization content awareness strikes from fucking Nintendo. But really, I made up this entire series for the explicit reason of making the video you're watching right now. Because ever since launching My Nintendo and announcing Nintendo Switch Online, they've somehow made this whole palaver less interesting than my recent domination of all social media. So I think it's about time someone said something. So in case you don't follow Nintendo closer than a hillbilly brother and sister sharing the same shower, let me catch you up with some of the online shit Nintendo's got going on. Before 2016, the entire world was cussing out Nintendo for not making mobile games. So, similar to my grandma and the retirement home we sent her to die in, eventually they were forced into it. They set up a system where playing the games or spending real money would get you points, which would then get you rewards. They could be in-game rewards, like a solid gold fuck you to Princess Peach in Super Mario Run, or out-of-game rewards, like a Nintendo-themed background for your phone or computer, because paying for desktop wallpapers isn't something everyone stopped doing in 1995. Or some store credit on the Nintendo Switch eShop, the only currency less valuable than bison dollars. Or maybe a 30 to 50% discount on some of the most legendary games known to man, like Burger Time Deluxe. This program is called My Nintendo. But where God opens a window, he undoubtedly slams a door in your fat ugly face. In this case, being the closure of Nintendo's former loyalty program in 2015 called Club Nintendo. At the time, Nintendo of America president and Dwayne The Rock Johnson cosplayer Reggie Fils-Aimé said this in an interview with Time magazine.
Club Nintendo as a program really at its heart rewarded existing players and rewarded them with physical goods. What's different at My Nintendo is that My Nintendo is meant to be a virtual hub for all your consumer interactions with Nintendo IP. Purchase games from our dedicated game systems, My Nintendo will know you'll be rewarded for that activity. Play games, watch videos, conceptually go to Universal Studios. This is a more robust and sticky way for you as a consumer to interact with all things Nintendo, for it to be tracked, and then for you to be rewarded for all that activity. The mechanics of the program needed to be completely rethought and redone, and that's why we sunsetted Club Nintendo.
The idea that Reggie Fils-Aimé described in 2015 and the My Nintendo of 2018 is a bigger letdown than a film adaptation of The Cosby Show with the entire cast played by Scarlett Johansson. Even specifically bringing up the Nintendo theme park, which would imply getting points for real-life Nintendo interactions. So if that's the idea, why aren't players getting My Nintendo points for Pokemon video game and trading card game championships? Or the tons of official Nintendo Versus tournaments? Or how about those limited edition clothing partnerships, like the Pokemon Hype Range or the Uniqlo Design Contest? Hey, what about the Pokemon Symphonic Evolutions concert? Or all those damn Zelda concerts? Or that Zelda escape room that was open for all of 2 minutes? Or, at the very least, shouldn't we get points anytime we buy anything on your official fucking store? I've had more activity with Nintendo than I have members of the opposite sex, but without more points of contact and better rewards than a home theme for the portable console you're not even trying to sell, the chances of me keeping up with My Nintendo are going down faster than a kid at the Make-A-Wish Foundation. And speaking of paying Nintendo while using a smartphone app less used in Internet Explorer, let's talk about Nintendo Switch Online. Nintendo Switch uses a subscription-based service for players to access online multiplayer, cloud-based save data, NES games, support with a dedicated smartphone app, and more exclusive offers. It's the first time Nintendo players have to pay for online functionality on a Nintendo console, if you don't count Pokemon Bank, which I'm still shocked stuck around longer than the Girl Meets World reboot. Now of course it's frustrating having to pay for something you used to get for free. How do you think Marvel feels every time they look at the Fantastic Four? But as it's been a video game industry standard to charge money for online for over a decade, it's only fair to show gratitude for the Nintendo Switch's first 18 months being completely free. No one has the right to criticise the decisions they've made to survive, or demand anything more from people who just want to add joy to the world. And here's my criticisms and demands about Nintendo Switch Online. Everyone, their mother and their mother's gynecologist have been screaming for the virtual console to get brought over to Switch. Being able to play some NES games does not fill the virtual console shaped hole no more than Madonna's feeding time when she unhinges her jaw and devours her calf whole. Hey, I don't give a fuck about old games, but a lot of people do. Even if they add online multiplayer to Dr. Mario, this is not a decisive reason to pay for Nintendo Switch Online, no one considers it a bonus, and, most importantly, I'm pretty sure I got half of these when I paid too much for my 3DS in the first place. Also, presumably, I'm not buying the games, but paying for access to them so long as my subscription is valid. Meaning, I have to repeatedly pay to access my progress in Super Mario Bros. Free, rather than just buy it once and own it for good, without worrying when the servers will close down. Nintendo Netflix has no chill. Constantly trying to innovate and change up the formula can have its downsides too. Because of each generation, Nintendo have had to rebuild a brand new architecture and then glue it onto the last one with some duct tape and a warm hug from Reggie Cheese Latte. Now, because they like to hit the refresh button so often, I have more Nintendo accounts and friend codes than the number of privacy policy emails I got that time Facebook made some back alley deals of people's data and broke Europe. There was a mighty step forward in the right direction when they moved from the Wii's 12-digit friend code to actual words with the Wii U's Nintendo Network ID, aligning themselves to the PlayStation Network Online ID and Xbox gamer tags. Although I could understand if the NNID was specifically built for Wii U's eShop and multiplayer and couldn't be adapted for what they wanted to do with my Nintendo, how is it possible that over 4 consoles I've got an NNID, a nickname for the NNID, a Nintendo account that can be logged into with an NNID or social media account, a My Nintendo that works with the Nintendo account, and a me, 2 other me's, 3 different friend codes, and an account for an old website that I still can't work out the password for? All this, and they still can't make a friend list that does anything more than show you which of your mates are the cheapskates based on the number of demos they've played. NNIDs, My Nintendos, Nintendo accounts, the first thing they need to do is get everything under one banner so my one username can access all the Nintendo at once. If I was told I walked into a swingers party with Hillary Clinton and the guys behind the celebrity photo hats happening in the garden party from Get Out, I probably still wouldn't bother logging out of Twitter. So if I've signed in once on my Switch, what makes you think I'm going to go to another website just to check how many Mitomo coins I still need to look like Mario? R.I.P. Sentient Nintendo replica. Hey, you know that god-awful smartphone app that looks like a Gaia Online Discord server accidentally ended up on the Google Play Store? If you make that a hub for all your Nintendo interactions, like purchasing games on eShop and tracking gold coins after a day out in Super Nintendo World and letting me know which Mario Tennis Aces tournament is happening right now, rather than trying to make me use my phone as a phone by redirecting voice chat for a UI that's going to be more stuff than a complaint box when Raven-Symoné finds out about that Cosby Show remake, it might actually be useful. I thought DNA was supposed to be helping Nintendo, but so far they haven't made it any easier to find Neil deGrasse Tyson online and tell him I could take him down in Mario Kart. And if there's one thing I find more upsetting than finding out that girl from Boy Meets World does porn now, it's waking up every day knowing I can't tell an astrophysicist his rocket boosts suck. Rant over.